Hey toy collectors, welcome to another super exciting outrageous toy review. Baby Skeletor's back with me today to take a look at the new Mattel Stratos from Origins up against the Super7 Filmation Stratos. The Origins figure from Mattel is based on his vintage action figure, while the Super7 figure is based on his look in the Filmation cartoon. The Super7 card back features Stratos battling Evil Lyn and Skeletor. It's in sort of a muted comic book style art, somewhat similar to what we would have seen on a vintage action figure from this line. His packaging has a call out for his Power Punch action and shows off a whole bunch of characters made by Super7 in the Filmation style, including He-Man, Orko, Buzz-Off, Teela, Stratos, She-Ra, Skeletor, Merman, Hordak, Evil Lyn, Evil Seed, and Shadow Weaver. The back of the Origins figure has a more detailed style of art. Shows Stratos leading some of the other characters from Avion, including one that looks very reminiscent to his original mini-comic appearance. I see you, flesh-colored Stratos. Lower down, there's some call-outs about how his accessories and articulation works, with cross-sell art for He-Man and Skeletor, and the rest of Stratos' wave, including Hordak, Triclops, and Ninjor. Here I've got the two Stratos figures side by side, and it's interesting that they are in opposite color schemes. The vintage Stratos figure was released with both red wings and a blue backpack, and a blue backpack and red wings. Filmation chose the blue backpack red wing combination. I don't really know which one's more common on that vintage toy. It seems like I see both fairly frequently. So I do think it's fun that both of these more recent updates have opposite color schemes. We're going to start by taking a look at the Super7 figure first. He is a smooth-bodied character because in the artwork they didn't really draw fur on the characters for animation. So that's very different from his vintage figure. He's got kind of a wide-looking backpack, and his feathers fit tighter to his arms. And it's interesting, in this version, they're just clip-on. They don't strap on in any way like the vintage figure's wings did, but they fit really tight up against his body. He's got smooth red boots. Again, this is something from the cartoon that wasn't really seen in that vintage toy. But overall, he looks really good. Here's the Origins Stratos. He stands a little taller because of his articulation. He's able to stand up higher. He's got the fur sculpted on his chest and his shins and his forearms. His thighs and shoulders are a little bit more bare, but his vintage figure kind of looked like that. His red backpack's a little bit more narrow than the one on the Super7 figure, and his wings are bigger. They clip on also, but they clip on at the wrist and not up higher, so they're a little taller and they don't fit quite as tight to his body. And that's kind of an interesting feature. Both characters have those ape-like features in the face, so he's kind of an odd bird monkey man. They both have the goggled helmet with the three ridges on it, and I think they both are great interpretations of the figure. So here's the Super7 version. He has articulation at the head. He has articulation at the shoulders. He has a power punch that was in all the vintage figures, and he has a little bit of hip articulation that's kind of limited. They rotate some, but you really can't get him to sit down. He's a very shiny plastic. He looks like an oiled up bodybuilder. So his wings do clip on and off pretty easy, but they feel like a cheap Halloween ring that you get as a kid. I don't like that so much for being a collector toy. The quality of that accessory just seems a little too brittle for my taste. The backpack is a little bit more rubbery. I don't know if it comes off. I don't really want to pull, but you can see that the backpack pegs into the harness when they put it on the first time. I just don't know if they glued it or not, and I don't want to mess with it. But overall, a great Filmation version using the vintage body style. He comes with two additional accessories. He has the Emerald Staff of Avion, which he can hold in his hand. This is from the mini comics. He also comes with the Staff of Avion, which is from the cartoon show. So I have a feeling that probably Don Glut, when he did the background for the characters. He probably wrote about the staff of Avion in the series Bible. I don't know that for sure, but I'm suspecting there was some mention. The mini comic artist designed one, and the Filmation people designed one, and they just didn't come out the same. And that's fine, and it's cool, and I like those accessories. Stratos kind of never really gets accessories. His wings were his vintage accessories, and really the staff is the only important relic from his people that we see in the show a lot. So in different interpretations of them, those are generally the only accessories we get for Stratos. The Origin Stratos has articulation at the head, shoulders that move in and out and around. He's got elbow joints. He's got wrist swivels and hinges, which is so great. He's got a swivel at the waist there. He's got hip joints that move out to the sides, forward and backwards a little bit. Again, doesn't sit real well. He's got knee joints. He's got boot cut articulation. And he's got swivel joints at those ankles. So a really well-articulated figure. I think that's one of the things that Origins does well, even though I'm not totally wild about their knee joints, and their hip joints still don't work great. Having a lot of articulation is definitely fun on these guys. To be able to finally pose Stratos in sort of a flying pose is really nice. He does share parts with Zodak and Beastman. He has that little brass knuckle weapon that's unpainted on Stratos. Stratos shares that with Beastman in particular, and always something that kind of got my attention as a kid, and I always tried to understand what it was or why it was there and unpainted. His wings just clip on his wrists like that. The plastic on these still is a little bit kind of cheap feeling, kind of Halloween, junk feeling, but a little bit more, maybe feels a little more durable because the strap's a little wider. It's okay. And then he's got his backpack here with the harness in the front. I really don't like taking these off, but you can see the suspenders clip in and the snap is there on the front. It's funny how his backpack is sort of the reverse of most of the other characters. Most Mo2 characters had a chest emblem and clip on the back, and Stratos is the other way around. The Super7 Stratos came with this little art card with a background of the Eternian Palace with Stratos printed on the front there. On the back, we have a little bit of information from Toy to Toon, where they show how they slowly transitioned the action figure, this time with the blue harness and red wings, into a final cartoon design. Origin Stratos comes with a piece of paper that shows us his head is removable, his arms come off at the shoulders, his hands can come off at the wrists, his torso and waist can come apart, and also his boots can be removed. In addition to that, he also has his mini-comic. It is the Sneak Attack mini-comic that features all the characters from his wave, especially Stratos, Hordak, Triclops, and Ninjor. I kind of like the mini-comics more than the art card, but I'm sure this has a higher production cost, and that's offset by the higher production numbers on Origin since it's a retail line. Oh, note he's stealing the Emerald Staff. In the comments down below, let me know which version of Stratos you like more. Thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out my other videos.